Gracefully and Frankly is supported by the good people at Sierra Sil. Do you suffer from joint pain, especially in your knees? You've got to discover why Sierra Sil has helped millions of Canadians with their promise you'll feel a difference in your joint pain with these all-natural mineral capsules within 14 days or your money back. We don't know anyone else who does that, but we're so glad Sierra Sil is part of our lives, Lisa's husband's life, and so many more.
Check it out for yourself at sierrasil.com. Sierra like the mountains, SIL.com. And on any purchase, get 10% off with the code GF.
Well, look at us, episode 84, and we are ready to go. Welcome to August, Lisa Brandt.
My goodness, it got here fast, Aaron Davis. You know what they say, time goes faster as you get older.
Oh, I thought it was when you're having fun, and we're having fun.
Yes, having fun, all those things, and getting older is the goal anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about Celine Dion at the Olympic opening in Paris?
Putting to rest, finally, the lip sync question that at least I had. We're going to talk about perspective that someone who isn't in your life all the time can have on it and how that can be a good thing.
What's happening in Jasper, and we'll share a memory or two about visiting that beautiful town back in the day and how our hearts are breaking over what's happening to it now.
The weirdest open house guest we've had yet, and a strange request. Do you take requests? We'll explain that coming up. Hey, you are flying here. I have 2 Envy pillows with your name on them. Well, actually, Envy is embroidered on them, but if you want, I can get out my needle and thread. But you'll know, they'll be on your bed.
Oh, no, another poem. Envy wants you to know that not all copper-infused pillows are created equal. They have copper infused to every fiber of the copper pillows. Not everybody does. So if you're doing comparison shopping and you see copper and you wonder why the pillow costs 1/3 of the Envy pillow, that's because it's not the same thing, not even close. And you can go to the Envy Pillow website, look at their independent research that they had conducted to see whether it's the same thing. It really is not. Go to envypillow.com, check it out. You can take a little quiz and find out which pillow is right for you, and see why copper matters to your skin and why the Envy pillow matters to your sleep.
And also use that GF code for 10% off. That's ENVYpillow.com, and sleep with the best. Wow, first day of August, and I have been counting down to this month because you are coming in 3 more sleeps at the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you arrive Sunday, right?
Monday.
Oh, okay, 4 more sleeps. All right, fine. I won't get any naps in there. So excited to see you, sister.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm at the point where I'm making sure I've got all my stuff cleaned and ready to go. And, you got to have that 1 pair of shorts or whatever it is that you have to have.
Yep. And we have laundry. You don't have to pack for 3 pair a day, even if you do have some kind of a blowout. It doesn't matter. I always do that. I take so much underwear, and I wash it every night anyway. I have no idea what I'm packing for. The panty apocalypse, I guess. I don't know.
It's funny because, Kathy Buckworth, the journey woman, go to grandma, all those things that she writes for. Mm-hmm. I asked her for some advice on packing, and she said to take as much underwear as you need. Right on, sister.
Yeah. And of course, the excitement. I'm sure you and I will be spending some time watching at least highlights from the games in Paris and making room, of course, for our big event, which is our Facebook Live 1 week today on August the 8th. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the moments that people will be talking about forever, right up there with Muhammad Ali lighting the torch in Atlanta, was, of course, Celine Dion at the balcony of the Eiffel Tower singing Hymn à l'amour. Oh, your thoughts, please.
Well, especially since there's been so much discussion about whether she'll be able to perform publicly again. And she was beyond perfect, just absolutely perfect. And you could see the emotion in her face. And it was just an amazing moment, spine-tingling.
It was. And the fact that, for the most part, they managed to keep it a secret. I mean, there were rumors that Celine and Lady Gaga were in Paris. And Maybe they always wanted to be anyway, and probably it's where Celine likes to do much of her shopping because that gown was Dior. In fact, her pianist, who was not David Foster. Everybody's saying it was David Foster.
No.
If you Google Celine Dion Olympic pianist, David Foster comes up because he did it in Atlanta with her. But it wasn't. It was her longtime collaborator, composer, Scott Price, who looked like a proud papa sitting there. But what I'm getting back to is he, too, was wearing a Dior tuxedo, and you think, okay, we know that Steinway was getting wet. Will the tuxedo ever be able to be worn again?
You want to put that thing in a shadow box and hang it somewhere.
Oh, God, yeah. And that dress, don't you imagine from her documentary on Prime, I Am, will that dress, where will it go? Will it go into a museum somewhere? Will it go into that enormous storage space that she has somewhere?
Oh, no. You know, Celine is very DIY. I'm sure she was on Pinterest looking for a way that she can wear it a second time by taking it up and, adding a different stole or something. I'm totally kidding. That's not happening.
For sure.
No.
Now, I am a natural-born skeptic, and it's nothing that I ever said publicly because nobody wants to even think about that. But I wondered, of course, Lisa, with all of her health problems and not knowing from one moment to the next whether the medication would work, whether her body would fail her again, whether it was live. And of course, and again, we talked about this just last week, national anthems are recorded or pre-recorded because of the possible visit from the F-up fairy. Mm-hmm. So I was positive. I would have bet my life that consummate professional that she is, she was able to lip sync that really believably. But I'm so happy to say I was wrong. And you always knew she was doing it live.
The only reason is because one of the things that I do well, and there aren't that many, is tell whether somebody's lip syncing. I can always tell when somebody's lip syncing. And the camera was on her so much. I mean, what else was there to show? Mm-hmm. Just her. So it just seemed to me like it wasn't possible. And that's what made it such a triumph, is that she was singing. But I can see why you would wonder.
Plus, the whole thing was so incredibly carefully choreographed. Oh, but they were hoping for the golden hour on the Seine with the light and making it part of the whole show. Because when you turn your whole city into the stage, yes, the weather plays a huge part of it. And boy, didn't Mother Nature let them down. But they pulled through.
Yep.
From the Marie Antoinette before the metal rock performance. And, people thought Donald Trump Jr. said it was satanic. No, you idiot. It was history.
Yes.
And just like that whole, it was the Last Supper. No, it was a Greek feast. And a whole bunch of people sitting at a table doesn't necessarily have to be from a painting.
Course. That kind of a setting has been done so many times. And somebody else wrote something about showing male genitals.
They didn't.
On and on. It's like, have you been to Italy? If you're afraid of seeing naked men, do not go to Italy and look at any statues, because there are naked men with other men. There are naked men with little men. They're everywhere. So
yeah.
just get over yourself.
And there are naked men who were clearly cold in that marble. I mean, look at Michelangelo's David.
Well, you hope for their sake they were cold anyway.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so she really did sing it. End of story. They had it pre-recorded in case of a technical problem, which of course could happen. And, what if she got up there and said all of a sudden, I can't do it. My voice, I can't catch my breath. But it was live. So, okay, we can put that to rest. Also, it was Scott Price, not David Foster.
Well, we saw the guy's face. How did people think it was David Foster? That's what gets me. But anyway, whatever.
He had gray hair and glasses. And here's the thing, as I say, as soon as you Google Celine Dion accompanist Olympics, Google takes you back to 1996.
Right.
So that's the problem there. But I think I have found, Lisa, the most bizarre story from this set of games.
Oh.
Does the name Matt Dawson ring a bell to you?
Does not, no.
Matt Dawson is an Australian field hockey player. Okay?
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't be bringing him up. So 2 weeks ago, he injured his ring finger, left hand.
Oh,
you did hear this story.
Yes. It's a great story.
It is a great story because they told him you're going to need surgery and you're going to be sidelined for months. And so what did he do? He had the finger amputated to the knuckle.
Yeah. That healed in time for him to be able to participate. Isn't that incredible?
It really is. This is the dedication. I mean, a lot of these athletes are risking their lives. There's no question. I mean, when you look at any gymnast up there doing the flips and twists and everything, that's just unbelievable. Try walking on a curb and see how you do on the beam.
Yeah.
So this Matt, the most bizarre part of it was the quote from him at the end. He says, "Fingers crossed we get the gold in the end." Just hold off on that particular saying. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Matt Dawson, I hope it's worth it for you. By the time this airs, who knows? He may have his gold, but he's not getting that part of his finger back. Wow.
Talk about dedication.
Honestly.
I'd give my ring finger to get a medal, literally.
And wouldn't so many of them? You know, this is an honest confession, and I think a lot of people are like this. In the 4 years leading up to the Olympics, you don't remember what people are doing, these athletes we've been hearing about. And occasionally you'll hear, oh, somebody got a gold in another set of games. Andre DeGrasse did this or that. And you go, okay, good for them. And then all of a sudden, the entire world is focused on your girl or your guy. And it's this 4-year cycle of not caring. And then all of a sudden, we're all in.
We get to sit back and go, oh, my goodness, they really missed that beam.
Yeah.
Any more Doritos? You know?
Exactly. Oh, she looked a little shaky there. What are you even talking about?
Exactly.
These are superhuman feats. And the fact that every 4 years, the bar just seems to be getting raised higher and higher.
Literally.
Yeah, especially if you're doing the pole vaulter. I don't care where you're from. Anyway, old joke, not good. So that's very exciting. And all we can hope is that next Thursday, August 8th, you'll PVR your favorite feat of the games and join us for our Facebook Live. No incredible godlike feats from you and me, but just managing to do a Facebook Live from the same place because you're flying all the way out here to Vancouver Island.
And it's just as simple as going to our Facebook page and joining the live feed at 8 o'clock, and that's all there is to it. That's when we're going to award the pendants to 10 lucky people and their friend. The winners will each get 2. And if you haven't entered that yet, go to our Facebook page and find out all the details on that. And yeah, we're just going to have some fun.
I had a friend who was a pen pal and became a friend fly in last week, and she was flying over the Rockies. And I asked her if she could see the smoke from, well, of course, there's fires everywhere now, but particularly the fires that were happening in and around the Jasper area, which apparently are going to be burning for a very long time.
Yep.
She could see the smoke, but our hearts were just in our throats watching what was happening to a place that gets 2.5 million visitors every year, is home to 5,000 people, and, of course, countless wildlife. And we're talking about our beloved Jasper, Alberta. Oh, Lisa.
I know. It's such a gorgeous spot, and we're so lucky to have it. And what are your memories of Jasper?
Oh, well, you know I'm Alberta born. And we didn't get to Jasper as kids. We made a point of going as adults. It was Christmas. Rob, Lauren, and me. It was 2006, so Lauren would have been 15. Flew to Edmonton, got on the train, went to Jasper. And then once we got checked in at Jasper Park Lodge, we got on another train to go through the Rockies on Christmas with the snow on top and the glass roof. And then skating for hours on the pond, the lake right in front of Jasper Park Lodge. Rob and Lauren went skiing together on Marmot, and we made the most spectacular memories, although she wasn't jazzed about not being home for Christmas because she was a teenager. But we just had the most wonderful, wonderful time. And I've got pictures of the presents around the fireplace in our little cabin. And they put Christmas trees in every cabin, you know, little artificial ones to welcome people for the holidays. And oh, my gosh, Lisa.
Sounds magical.
It was. And they say that the lodge is mostly spared. Many of the cabins didn't make it, but It's just a matter of trying to rebuild the town site. It's just, it's so tragic. What's next? Banff? I hate to even say it.
That's just it.
Yep.
That's the question. What is next?
Yeah.
And what do we do in the meantime to stop it? I know fires happen every year, but they don't get fed like they do now.
Yeah. We have one. Souk is one of my favorite places here on southern Vancouver Island. Well, there's been a big fire going on there in the Old Man River area. And if you can do the news without breaking into song, I salute you. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I came very close.
I know you did. But they have smoke jumpers. Do you know what smoke jumpers are?
I do not.
They jump in. Well, that's pretty obvious, Davis. Thanks, Captain. They jump from planes with parachutes into the fire. Now, what they do there, I don't know. I should have Googled it before we did this show, but boy, that is a whole nother level of danger.
I think I have heard of this, and what they do is try and clear enough of a path to stop the fire from jumping. So they either till up dirt or whatever it is they do to just try and stop it from carrying on, I think.
I think you're right, because in the time you were talking, not that I wasn't listening intently, because this is me hanging on your every word, their primary mission is fire suppression, with equipment and supplies directly to the fire in a single jump. Wow. And how much do they get paid in Canada? These are the things you look up. $32 an hour. No.
Yeah.
No. $32 an hour. Wow. Hey, speaking of money, we may have an offer in on the house this week. Yay! We were hoping to have real furniture here for your visit next week, but guess what? My pen pal who visited last week says that the air mattress is very comfortable, and I swear you don't have to get on your hands and knees to get on it.
I'm pretty easy about that kind of stuff. As long as there isn't a wolf spider in bed with me, I'm pretty good to go.
I promise you that. There might be a fluffy little dog. And by the way, Livy and Dottie both went to get bathed and fluffed up this week for you, so they're going to be sweet-smelling little dogs. But
nice.
I have to tell you something that happened at last week's open house. I am sure realtors across Canada have stories. Well, there were 3 couples who came in Saturday. The fingers crossed couple came in Sunday. But on Saturday, the agent described one of the couples as kind of sketchy, and we thought, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, are they casing the joint? In our house, we have a number of instruments hanging on the wall. Mm-hmm. Rob's a bit of a collector, and mostly they're collectors of dust. But one of the people who came in, the guy asked the agent if he could play the guitar. Take it off the wall and play one of Rob's guitars.
What?
Yeah, that was a hard no.
Yeah, no kidding.
Although Rob said, hey, it's negotiable. If the guy wants to sit down and play Stairway to Heaven and it's going to sell the house, let him have his way. But
well, my first thought was at least he asked and the agent didn't come around the corner and he was playing Freebird or something. But
right.
Oh, my goodness, still.
And the other thing about open houses, getting the snarky feedback through the agent who held the open house. And I don't know if they're surreptitiously recording them on their phones or what, but it was so detailed about this couple came in, and one of them seemed to be like good cop, bad cop. The husband clearly wanted to move, and the wife, she is not leaving their house because she's saying this about the floor, this about the view from the deck, this about the roofs on the decks, this and this and this, and the cupboards that look like they're from IKEA. Hey, good one. They are, and we love them, so shut up.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. So it's almost like a radio focus group where what they used to do, and here's some little insider stuff on radio. If you had a big radio station, the management, the bosses, they all wanted to know what the public thought of you. So they would come in, they'd give them sandwiches and I don't know what else and promises of a draw or something and sit them around a conference table and have them listen to the show. Mm-hmm. And then behind one-way glass is how it works. Stupid.
It's just regular glass, Erin. Yeah.
Really? There's such a thing? Okay. Behind that glass, they're watching and listening to what the people are saying about the show. And sometimes they would pass along some of this feedback. Now, all I ever heard was you do not ever want to sit in on a focus group.
Right.
Because what you hear is going to just completely disable you from doing your job the next day.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that.
It is. Years ago, when I was program director of a little radio station in Wingham, well, not so little, but a radio station in Wingham, I went to Toronto to read the diaries of people who were rating the radio station. And I read some of those. Like, the woman on in the middle of the day should never be on radio anywhere. She doesn't know what she's talking about or whatever, you know? And it's like, oh.
Was that you?
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh.
Yeah. But, you know, I had a talk with my dad, and he stopped writing letters like that. No, I'm just kidding. You're talking about open houses. When we had an open house remember our place in the country before we moved here to Port Stanley? We got back after 2 full days of open houses, and the furniture was all pushed to the walls. Rugs were rolled up. Things were moved all over the place. Beds were askew.
What the hell happened there?
Well, we called our agent, and what had happened was she let one couple and the agent see the place on their own after the open house was over, and then he was going to lock up. And I guess because it was all original, except for, you know, it was all updated and modernized, but the flooring was original and everything, they wanted to make sure that we weren't hiding some sort of major flaws. So they just moved everything so that they could see all the flooring, but then didn't move any of it back.
Jeez.
It was almost like somebody had been through the place and sort of tossed it.
Yeah.
Looking for the flash drive that had the codes on it so that Tom Cruise could whatever.
So that couple, were they the ones who bought?
No.
Okay.
As it turns out, gee, we weren't hiding anything. They could have asked, you know.
Right.
So I read your journal, of course,
Oh.
and I want to know more about your pen pal.
Well, did you ever have a pen pal as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Not anybody I met later on.
A couple of years ago, this woman and I started an email friendship, I guess you would call it. We were both looking, I don't know for what, but she kind of reached out to me and I would give her some answers and then we would learn about each other. And she's ended up being just a fascinating woman, accomplished and deep and empathetic and just pretty wonderful. And so, you know, I've been pouring my heart out to her a little more than I have to anyone else except you over the last couple of months, several months, just from the depression, the ditch that I've been in. And so last Sunday, a week ago Sunday, she just emailed and said, I think flights are really good. I'm going to hop on a flight Wednesday and stay for 2 nights. And I was okay. We've never even seen each other on FaceTime. We never bothered to do that because it was just good enough.
Yep.
And I said, okay, we're attached to a hotel or you can stay with us. So then we did FaceTime and I showed her the Lisa Brandt suite and where she'd be staying in her own bathroom and the dogs and everything else. And she said, no, I'm going to stay with you. That's fine. So to make a long story short, we made this tremendous heart connection that we knew was always there. I kind of sort of understood how people fall in love with someone that they've met long distance and haven't ever met. And then they get off the plane and go, wow, you're everything I hoped you'd be. And we just had so many heart-to-hearts. Did the whole tourist thing with her, and you can see those pictures at erindavis.com from Monday if you want. By the way, in that journal, I said we'd be talking about depression and moving, and we're not going to have time for that this week. We've just had so much going on.
Well, we will.
Yes, we absolutely will get to that because it's a great story, and it has to do with your childhood and moving a lot. But anyway.
Do you know, there's so much in what you're telling me about this friend because it shows that your heart is open, that those connections can be made, that maybe this lovely woman is filling a need or an aspect of friendship that you don't get somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just so many good things about it. And I'm so glad that you both didn't shy away from making it a personal friendship. It's been so good for you.
It really has. And it's the silliest thing because in a small way I've thought, oh, I'm being disloyal to my longtime real friends. But you know what? How much can one rely on or just keep going to people who have their own lives, who have their own grief, who have their own struggles, and have their own busyness in their lives? And at some point you want to say, I am really tired of being a pain in the ass here, but I've got to talk to somebody about this. And she was just there. And it wasn't just me sort of vomiting grief, but her just asking questions and talking back and forth and that sort of thing. So I'm not being disloyal to you, am I?
No. In fact, my heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yay!
When you're telling me how well it was going, because, like I say, we bring people into our lives for all sorts of reasons, and I'm glad you weren't reserved about it and thought, oh, no, I don't need to have somebody else in my life. You know what I brought to mind, too, was the movie About a Boy with Hugh Grant and Toni Collette. It's just a great movie. And the boy at one point says, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, you need more people. We need more people. Like, I've got my mother and I got this guy, whatever, but you need more people. And he's got a room full of people who love him at this point. And he's just reveling in the fact that he's got this community around him. And I don't even know if I got it so much at the time, but later in life, as life has gone on, that's really resonated with me. I'm glad that you took the chance because you've benefited from it immensely.
Well, I have, and in ways that I don't even know yet, but one of the things that I really took to heart from her was that, you know what, things are going to get better, and you've got to get that spark back. Or she never said you've got to, but I got the message that I've got to get this spark back, the feeling that something great is going to happen today. And I always used to wake up with that. No matter what we were going through, I'd always go, what wonderful thing is going to happen today? And, the day after she left, I had that feeling for the first time. And then, a day later, we have this tremendous showing, not Buddy with the guitar, but the couple who sends a very long list of questions about the house. That means they're serious. So that happened. And then some of the things she also did was to suggest a book or two. One of them, The Courage to be Disliked, which a very good friend in Vancouver ordered for me when he was here visiting. And he said, this book changed me. It's from my therapist. You got to read it. Okay, I haven't read it yet. But the other one is one that I ordered as an audiobook. And you're going to want to hear this. It's called Build the Life You Want. And it's by Arthur C. Brooks and Oprah Winfrey. No matter what you think of Oprah foisting Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil on the world, I still think she's amazing.
Oh, she is. She's way more amazing than not amazing.
Yeah. And this book, let me put this to you, Lisa. And I think that this is kind of how Andrea summed it up when she was explaining the book, because it sounds like 1,000,006 other self-help books out there. How to build the life you want, blah, blah, blah. But, okay, if you ask a group of people, what do you want? The main answer is going to be, we want to be happy, right? I want to be happy. But the next question is, what does that look like?
Right.
Does it mean in the big picture, well, that would mean winning the lottery. Okay, yeah, but if you win the lottery, okay, what does that look like? What do you want to do with that? But what it came down to for the most part was, well, I want to be loved. I want to love. I want to have fulfillment. I want to be respected. So those are the things that we can work on. And as we were talking, the three of us, going for a drive somewhere, I said to Rob, do you think you're ever going to be happy again? And he said, well, no, not really, not the way I was. And I said, well, no, of course, we'll never be happy the way we were. But what does happiness look like to you? And he said, doing something in a day that makes me happy. So it's happiness one day at a time, basically, instead of saying, I want to be filled with joy and happiness and never have heartbreak the rest of my life. Well, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Just find the little bites. Find the amuse-bouche, that little moment, even before the meal that makes you go, oh, this is fantastic.
Something else comes to mind, and tell me if this rings true. And that is that people who've been in your life a long time or in your life a lot can say the same thing or something similar as someone who brings a fresh approach or a fresh take on it, but you don't take it in as well. I find that with Derek, for example. I may have said something to him or talked to him about something where it hasn't really permeated, where a similar thing, said a different way, framed by a different person, with a different perspective, maybe with a book recommendation, whatever, gets through. And I think it's a combination of when you're ready and when the message is right. And I don't think it matters where that comes from. And I'm not saying Andrea doesn't matter, but I don't think it matters.
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't think it matters where that comes from, just that it comes.
You're so right. And that is something that Rob used to say all the time. I'd say, you know what, I want to go to therapy. I just want to talk to somebody. And he'd say, you know, they're going to say pretty much everything that I say. And I said, yes, but you love me. And that's...
I get it.
Yeah. It's not like, yeah, you have to say that because you love me. But there's just so much lack of objectivity when someone is giving you their best advice when they love you. There's got to be somebody who looks at you and says, girl, give your head a shake. Or why don't you look at it this way? Turn the jewel around and look at it from this perspective.
Now, this doesn't work in the case of Andrea, but when it's a therapist, you're also paying them. So you're getting a service. So I better get my money's worth. So
that's true. Yeah. And update, I'm going to be trying out a new therapist this week. So I'm really glad because those who listen know we broke up with our therapist a while back because
yes, we did.
He posted something on Instagram with which we both disagreed, and I was almost ready to go back. And then I thought, no, I mean, what are your principles worth? But were they a hill worth dying on if my mental health was suffering? So we'll see how this goes, and maybe I'll be able to give you a recommendation for a change.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I'll take it.
Okay. All right. Well, it's only a week until our live Facebook. Please join us. We are so excited to be doing this. 08 at 8 Eastern Time p.m. Of course, we have to say this because Lisa is up at the crack of stupid. But I also have to say, at least with Andrea here, I got a picture of a sunrise because I've never seen it.
Oh, that's right. She wanted to stay on Ontario time, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to do my best to assimilate as I try to do. And caftans are optional for the Facebook Live. You don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
So there you go.
I'm so excited. We are both excited, and we're just so grateful that you're along for the ride so we can share all this with you. So we'll talk to you next week. Don't forget, our Facebook page is Gracefully and Frankly, and to enter the contest, go to gracefullyfrankly@gmail.com. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's us.
All right.
Yeah.
Get packing.